So today I decided to travel back 20 years to play a stealth game I'm sort of familiar with, and that's... For those of you who don't know, I did a 10-part series on this game covering one mission in each part, but I was going in blind, meaning that I had no clue of what to do. All the videos were just unwatchable or very cringy. So I'm going to replay the game but with a twist. As I did all the levels on normal mode, I'm going to take it straight to the expert difficulty, as I believe I can master this whole playthrough on expert mode, and 100% all the missions as I did in my first run. So during the 10 missions, Will, Grim and Lambert will be providing objectives and giving us inside information on anything necessary. And all the chaos that erupts in this game is based on the Mass kernels. They are highly advanced weaponized algorithms developed by criminal hacker Philip Mass. In 2004, the kernels were used to launch a devastating cyber attack against the government and the military infrastructure of the United States. Sam eventually finds Mass and kills him. This leads to the United Nations establishing a secret team of experts to study and decipher the code, led by scientists Bruce Morgenholt and Abraham Zerkazy. The year is 2007. China and North Korea protest Japan's creation of the Information Self-Defense Force, claiming it violates Article 9 of Japan's post-World War II constitution. In response, they establish a blockade in the Yellow Sea, escalating regional tensions. The United States, bound by its post-war alliance with Japan, deploys its most advanced ship, the USS Clarence E. Walsh, to the area in a show of force. We're dropped off into a remote lighthouse in Peru to rescue Bruce Morgenholt, who is a programmer that was kidnapped by a revolutionary group called the People's Voice, led by a man named Hugo Lacerda. They took him because he has somewhat critical knowledge about Philip Mass's algorithms, and yes, the same Philip Mass reference back in the first game. On top of that, I was tasked with scanning some weapons crates to figure out where this group was getting their gear from. But things take a dark turn. I find Morgenholt too late as he's being tortured to death, and if you're probably wondering why I'm watching him get tortured to death, it's because it's, you know, a scripted part of the game, so literally there's no way past that.
Why did you torture Morgenholt?
Lacerda told us to!
Why? What does he want to know?
Math problems! Programmer stuff! I don't get it!
You're just the stupid one who likes to hurt people, huh?
Exactly!
To stop the spread of Mass's dangerous data, we're tasked with deleting the stolen algorithm files, and with the trail heating up on me, I had to zap this guy's nuts to keep myself hidden. Anyways, we managed to wipe the algorithm files from the computer, managed to scan the last crate, and a minute later we spy on this guy's communication network, which mentions a boat called the Maria Narcissa, which is where we need to head to in the next mission. As I extracted myself, I kinda died at the same time, making me fail the mission. But anyways, I completed every objective and I got 100%. After wrapping up the Lighthouse mission, we sneak aboard the Maria Narcissa to take out Hugo Lacerda. As Sam navigates the ship, he comes across more weapons crates. His colleague Redden suspects that they might be used to pay off Lacerda's debts to other organizations, so I was tasked to slap some tracking devices on them, hoping to expose a broader terrorist network. As we get further into the ship, we realize that it has flooded compartments, making us unable to access the room where the bill of lading was, so I had to sneak past two guards, activate the pumps which drain the flooded rooms. Now that the room was no longer flooded, we scan the bill of lading for the arms shipment and it leads us to a bank in Panama. Now, to get to Lacerda, killing him would be easy, but getting to him would be the problem. There were these two soldiers having a romantic chat, and we kinda had to wait it out patiently, so once they were done and separated, I zapped the guy, stuffed him in the chiller and just kept on moving. And I kinda don't know what came over me, but I ended up killing the two guys who actually knew where Lacerda was. That tanked my stealth rating, so I had to restart the mission. Second time round, I kinda got myself together and I tracked down the ship's captain, who I swear must have been on something because I could barely understand a word he said.
What?
When I got there, Lacerda was whining about how disrespected he feels by somebody, I don't know. But like a minute later, I grabbed him, dragged him into the bathroom and interrogated him. He claims he was just following orders from superiors he knows nothing about.
I'm a coward, please! I'm sorry, it's not my fault!
For that BS, we had to put him down. Lambert hit us with a good job, but because we had one more crate to find, the mission wasn't over yet. Once I found the last weapons crate, I put a tracker on it, we extracted ourselves and got another 100%. On to mission 3 now. Sam is immediately sent to Panama to track down the lead that was uncovered on the Maria Narcissa. Now, to disguise the true intent of the job, Fisher is instructed to rob the bank as well as retrieving any critical information regarding the mass kernels, but we can't do this alone obviously, because now we acquire the help of a man who specializes in cracking bank vaults named Thomas Turtle Standish, who's also British.
You want to get a butcher shop, let's go skirt.
Another objective was to upload several fake emails to various computers on site to make the robbery look like an inside job. Now, to gain access to the vault, we need to activate 3 access points across the bank to get into the main vault. The first one was from the security office, which somehow was a lot easier to get into than expected. The second one was from the president's office, no trouble there, and the third one was in the treasurer's office. While in the treasurer's office, Sam discovers that Abraham Zakesi, who was Morgan Holt's partner when deciphering the mass kernels, is now involved in the plot. After retrieving information from the Vault computer, Echelon discovers a 512-bit encryption with connections to an unknown person named Dvorak. Sam then steals 50 million worth of French government bonds, successfully covering the intelligence operation with the guise of a bank robbery. After exfiltrating over the bank wall, we complete the mission and get 100%. A random blackout strikes both Japan and the eastern seaboard, including New York City. So the ISDF contacts Third Echelon, expressing concern that China and North Korea may be behind the incident. In light of Abraham Zakesi's suspected involvement, Sam Fisher is ordered to investigate his penthouse in New York. During the mission, Sam navigates through a city under lockdown, evading National Guard troops deployed to maintain order during the blackout.
Who are you? Wait a minute. Is this a training exercise?
Damn. Support. This guy knows it's an exercise. Who let the cat out of the bag?
Huh, I knew it.
Roger that. Yeah, okay. Give me a hand here, pal. Just play along. Name, rank.
Didn't see anything.
Anyways, once we made our way to the penthouse, I encounter heavily armed mercenaries like those previously seen with Lacerda in the boat. Interrogating one of them, Sam learns they're operatives from Displace International, a private military company owned by our very good friend Doug Shetland. And then later on, this guard was taking forever to move, so I used my brain and used the gas from my sticky camera to take him out, which is probably like the coolest thing I've ever done in this game. After that, we were tasked with tapping 6 microphones around Zakesi's house, which kinda caught me lacking a couple of times.
Yeah, sure. Looks like Zakesi.
Alright. Later on, we interrogate this guard who reveals their orders came from a man named Milan Nedic, who is Displace's director of VIP protection. While sweeping the penthouse and accessing security feeds, we reach a connected, very run-down apartment where we find this creepy old man watching Splinter sell Pandora tomorrow.
Huh? I had thought this area was, well, off limits.
You're not Dvorak.
The old man tells us the true nature of Dvorak, which is not a person but an advanced infinite state machine managed by him. Dvorak is being used to repeatedly process the mass kernels, refining their accuracy and effectiveness with each iteration. We retrieve the output stack from the machine, tap the last camera, and we complete the mission with another 100%. Displace have been protecting Zakesi, who contracted Lacerda to kidnap Morgan Holt. So now we need to know if Displace is knowingly collaborating with Zakesi to acquire the mass kernels, or if he's acting independently. This critical discovery, Third Echelon sends Sam to infiltrate Displace International. To keep ourselves hidden with ease, we had to shut off the building's power from the roof. In order to retrieve the critical information necessary, we have to first scan this guy's briefcase in order to access the central server on the first floor. Then we have to access the second one in this random room, and the third one being quite a process because of these guards having a long conversation.
Prince of Persia. Yeah, I heard it's awesome. Gonna be game of the year, man. Can't wait to play it.
Next, the guards were being really observant and I died a few times, and I somehow killed one of them on accident.
Jesus Christ, Fisher! I told you no kills! I'm pulling the plug. Mission over.
After we access the last server, we drop into the main server room and the support team attempts to access the information only to find out that Displace has already deleted all traces of compromising information from this computer. The login alias points to Milan Nedic. Lambert states that Sam should check his office on the upper floor of the building for further information. We also interrogate this random guy who told us the door code to Nedic's office, and we got him with ease.
My wife will kill me if I ruin this suit.
In Nedic's office, we found information on his computer that reveals Zakesi is being hidden at a safe house in Hokkaido, Japan. Sam extracts with the information through the fire exit, where we completed every objective and got 100%. So in the midst of all this is actually the 4th of July, which is American Independence Day, and the seamen and the seamen on the USS Walsh are showcasing their celebrations on the news, but then a missile just suddenly arrives and blows everything up. Frank Mason recommends that America declares war with the Koreans immediately, and then the president says this.
Maybe it was an accident, maybe an exercise, a test launch gone wrong.
Meanwhile, in Hokkaido City, Sam is witnessing the events that just took place and Doug Shetland is just behind him being eerie. Sam says to Doug that Nedich is dirty, you need to cut that bitch loose, but Shetland suggests that if Sam has any evidence against Nedich, he needs to bring it to him and he will help him bring him in. Following from this, I embark on a mission to infiltrate the hideout where Abraham Zekesi is being held at. I have to kidnap him and also assassinate Nedich. I was also tasked to find 6 microphones, which was just pure suffering. As I'm on my way to assassinate Nedich, there was this Japanese guy doing God knows what while these 2 soldiers were just having a conversation. I actually ended up failing the mission successfully because these soldiers actually caught me interrogating Nedich. They killed me on sight alongside Nedich, who somehow got caught in crossfire.
Do it! Or are you a coward?
That's Nedich out of the picture. There's a helicopter inbound. Shetland is aboard.
You still think Shetland's crooked?
I still don't know, and that's what bothers me. Find out what Shetland and Zerkesi are meeting about.
After an eternity of actually trying to get to the meeting, Shetland murders Zerkesi to prevent any information on the situation being leaked. I attempt to catch Shetland but fail because the game says so, causing Shetland to go underground and drop off the radar. Now the funny thing is I actually completed the mission with every objective completed, but my success rating decreased to 95% because a body was somehow found. So I had to do the whole thing all over again, which took another 30 minutes because of the sneaking around of the damn microphones. But eventually we got to the extraction point, completed every objective and got 100%. Mission 7 wasn't too tough, it was quite calm actually, which makes sense considering the suffering that comes after in the next 2 missions. Now that a war is slowly approaching, there is urgent need to eliminate tensions in the region after the sinking of the Walsh. If a war does erupt, it will see the United States along with Japan and South Korea engage in North Korea, who would actively be supported by China and elements of the old Soviet Union, basically starting World War III. So now we've been sent to a missile battery located in North Korea to find out who was responsible for firing the missile that sank the Walsh. So on my way to stop World War III, I, already died due to fall damage, which was just, a great start. 2 restarts and about 10 minutes of just sneaking around. We were given a task of retrieving shipping logs because, Will told us to and we're gonna just have to do it.
Throw down your weapon!
I saw it too. I don't like this.
I was having trouble sneaking past this guy because I made the wrong move and my noise meter went up. So as he got too close for comfort, I high-fived his face, which just seemed to do the trick. As I moved closer to their senior officers, there were these 2 guards who were scoping around the area and they were just catching on to me. After their backs were turned, I attempted to bypass the circuit, but then this soldier took a shot from all the way down there in the opposite direction and somehow the bullet reached me and I just died. So I used my brain for the 3rd time and gassed these soldiers out with my sticky camera. Once the circuit was bypassed, the missile moved forward, giving us an opening to climb the pole, making our path to the senior officers easier. After 3 attempts of trying to get a hold of this soldier without being spotted, he eventually tells us that we can use the elevator to get there, but instead we use a safer method and go towards the vents. Once we get there, we overhear one officer confirming that the missile that sank the Walsh was launched from here, but not intentionally, but someone obviously did launch it intentionally. So to find out who launched it, we head over to the launcher room to grant ourselves access to the motherboard on the launcher itself and recover any data from the BIOS. BIOS, Basic Input Output System, is firmware that initializes hardware and loads the operating system when a computer starts. It's essentially the first software that runs on a computer, acting as a bridge between the operating system and the hardware. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Once we accessed the motherboard, Grim found a Dvorak fingerprint that traced back to...
What? As in South Korea? Are you telling me the US just got drawn into a war protecting the people that sank the Walsh?
Amongst the confusion, Lambert interrupts with,
Sweet Jesus, Fisher. Good Lord, speaking of missile launches...
He states that North Korea has declared war with South Korea and is planning to launch a missile that we must stop before it hits the USS Ronald Reagan, another damn American warship. We couldn't stop it from launching, but we managed to find the abort codes from the launch computer and made our way to the mission control room, where I managed to abort the missile next to this soldier who didn't notice me in the bright light, but these are the same soldiers who can see me in the dark. Once the mission was aborted, we quickly extracted ourselves with every objective completed and another 100% success rating and quickly headed on to the next mission. Because the sinking of the Walsh could not be traced back further than South Korea, we have to recover the drives from their national data trunk before the North Korean troops get them and use it to justify their invasion of South Korea. I completely forgot about the BS I was going to be put through in Mission 8, to the point where I made a 21-minute long fail compilation just on this mission alone. So anyways, right at the start of the mission, I made my way to nowhere because I basically died to a wall mine, so yeah, there's that. I also did a quick save of my progress, but straight after that I got caught. So every time I restarted from the current quick save, it would put me in the same dire mess. So 2 restarts and 13 deaths later, I managed to complete the task of tapping a mobile command center. so we can gain intelligence from the North Korean army and send it off to our American superiors. Taking down the propaganda broadcasts isn't a required objective, so it doesn't matter, but I still did it for some reason, I don't know. So we arrived at the data trunk to retrieve the main data drive so Grim could see if the missile launch came from anywhere else, but then she later states that we now have to go up to the roof and transfer the data to a plane called the EA-6B. Anyways, about a minute later, these soldiers just blew up the wall, charging in the room looking for the same drives, but I managed to sneak past them.
What was that? I think I saw it too. I don't...
Okay, well, not on my first try. 2 attempts later, I got to the elevator which will take us to the rooftop where I'll be extracted once the data is transmitted to the ship. And yeah, right, that's pretty much it for mission 8. We move on to mission 9, and all that talking about how BS this mission is just basically a lie, right? Yes, there's 2 parts to this damn mission, and trust me, this is where things get very, very complicated. So as we make our way to the rooftop, we managed to successfully transmit the data to the EA-6B, but it got shot down. So what we must do is to get to the wreckage and retrieve the data before the North Koreans do. My first mistake is that I forgot to quick save myself into part 2 because I died instantly and got put back into part 1. Which, was my last quick save. Redden gives us instructions to take out 5 North Korean radars called P3Rs, and by the time I managed to disable the first one, I got spotted and killed by a UAV. As I disabled the second P3R, there were soldiers and a UAV on lookout, and it took me forever to get past them. Even though I was in the shadows, my light meter was still up and I got killed again. But once I got past them, I was on my merry way to disable the next P3R when the UAV caught me and killed me. So on my second attempt, I just used my EMP on my pistol, which disables the device for a limited time. In doing so, I managed to scan the P3R with ease. I should have probably mentioned this earlier, but the voice acting for the East Asian characters in this game is so weird and stereotypical, there's no way an actual East Asian man voiced them.
Sing?
Yeah, what is...
I found out what that beeping sound was.
Is it a dud?
I don't know.
Check it!
You check it.
Okay. Take cover!
I want my Bobby!
Well, so far there's not really a lot of East Asian actors. Okay, you got Long Dan, Russell Yen, and wow, there's not really a lot. I guess there's only Long Dan, and that's it really. So, we got Linda Wong, and then we got John. So he was a North Korean colonel. So yeah, this kind of explains my point. The fact that you've got a game that centers around East Asia and you've only got 2 East Asian actors. One was for a main character, and then you got one poor lady to do all those voiceovers. She probably had help, but that help was really, really terrible. She was just better off doing it alone. About 5 minutes in the P3R later, we finally made it to the wreckage, only to find out that the plane was too badly damaged to recover the data. So basically our next task is to call in an airstrike to basically destroy the whole plane. But that's when morals come into play, because we can either choose to save the pilots beforehand, which I thought would be easy, but died to the tank which just kept on firing at my dead corpse, died to the tank again, died to a soldier who was just hiding in the dark, caught a stray bullet, made it past the tank but got killed by a soldier, tried to do the patience and calm method but just died in the process, killed by a soldier, died to the tank. Somehow being inches away, the soldier didn't notice us, which just confused me because he could see from meters away, but we managed to put the first soldier to safety. Now for the second pilot. A few deaths and restarts later, we managed to get the second pilot to safety, disable the last P3R, making our extraction safer to execute, and we finally called in the airstrike, destroying the plane with the data inside. Once that was done, the mission was completed and we got a 100% success rating, which was just a sigh of relief. But now we've gone 8 for 8, we can move on to mission 9. Doug Shetland finally reappears on 3rd Echelon's radar in Japan. He's located at a bathhouse owned by a criminal organization known as the Red Nation, and it's suspected that he's meeting with someone important to sell the information gathered from Zakazi and Morgenholt. So to discover who he exactly is meeting with, we have to infiltrate the bathhouse. Another objective was for us to tap 3 phone lines around the bathhouse for our friend Francis Cohen, who's been trying to gain access to the bathhouse for months. Funnily enough, I managed to actually gas the 2 agents from the ground using my sticky camera. Once we entered the bathhouse, we just had to sneak past a few guards to be able to make our way to a room where we might find information about Shetland's meeting. After that, we had to climb into this civilian's room to get to the targeted room next to it. Even though my hands were on the edge, this civilian still couldn't notice me, and another thing is he's the same guy doing a whole lot of nothing in the Hokkaido mission. And please remember, this guy's fast asleep, as this becomes important later. After an eternity of trying to hack this door, triggering several alarms, I finally entered the room we were supposed to be. We searched around and found out that Shetland will be meeting in the back of the bathhouse with the Red Nation. We also find out that ISDF troops are just chilling in the next room, and our assumptions are that the Red Nation have sold out Shetland to the ISDF and they are preparing to take him in. So now we make our way back to the civilian's bedroom, who is still sleeping, bearing in mind, and then into the main hallway of the bathhouse, where we bumped into the sleeping civilian who survived 3 shots to the stomach and still managed to run and switch on the alarms. I bumped into the same civilian again who was mopping the floor, and I know the developers probably didn't have the time to do different civilian looks throughout, as they're not really important to the game, but the civilians are literally the same model, just incorporated into different parts of the missions we play in. And I don't know, I kind of find it funny because the models are based on East Asians, so you don't really know what the developers were trying to imply when they did this. Oh yeah, and by the way, with all the gameplay I've watched on this particular level, especially with the experts, I have not seen any of them encounter this situation. We entered the steam rooms of the bathhouse, and because the steam clouds the night vision, we had to use the thermal vision, and somehow I found my way through with no trouble. In the second run, we actually had to turn on the valve because we would get caught by the soldier and the turret, which for some reason is in a steam room. But anyways, we got through there with ease. After tapping the last phone line and sneaking past a few ISDF guards, we grabbed this technician who seemed to like having a knife to his throat. We knock him out and eavesdrop on the meeting, and in the meeting we find out that Otomo and the ISDF are Shetland's partners and are there to meet with him, not to take him down. Kaneda intends to get the information warfare algorithms from Shetland, but he ain't trying to pay for them. So in anger, Shetland actually blasts Kaneda in the head, forcing Sam to track down Shetland through a gunfight between Displace and the ISDF. So I made a quick save just to checkpoint my progress, but then I died straight afterwards, so every time I restarted from the quick save I just kept on dying. I even tried hiding in the vent space and I just ended up getting shot in the ass. This went on for so long I actually decided to consider restarting the entire mission, but after a while I did get past the soldiers and I made my way to the next room. Now, when I tell you it took forever and ever to get past these 3 soldiers, in the videos people had 3 smoke grenades but I only had 1 for some reason, and the smoke grenades are crucial for getting past these soldiers. I tried EMPing the lights to make me hide in the darkness, but they had night vision so they could see me regardless. They even run up to you and take you out just like that. Like, the AI is so cracked to the point where they actually kill you. They don't even know that they've killed you because they respond with "what was that?" which, to be fair, does happen throughout this game. I accidentally flashed myself and you already know how that turned out. I used my sticky camera to gas one of them and it actually seemed to do nothing. From that moment I knew I was fucked. I fucked up and I didn't know where to go from here. I had nothing else to give, nothing left to do but try. I just stopped recording and kept on making attempts because my memory was filling up with just countless deaths, and this is not a fail compilation video. But we got past them after an eternity and I was so happy and I started to record again. So once we get to the furnace room, Shetland has actually rigged the place to blow. We had 90 seconds to defuse each bomb while Shetland would creepily walk towards us and give us a speech and just disappear into the mist. We also had to take down the 3 soldiers that gave us hell earlier as they tried to stop us from defusing the bombs.
Doesn't have to end like this, Sam.
No, but it does have to end.
On that we agree. We've been fighting their dirty little wars our entire lives, and where do we end up? Staring at each other down the barrels of our guns. Nothing has changed, Fisher. And it won't change by degrees. We have to tear it down and start over. It's the only way.
Your own little chaos theory, throw the world into war and hope that what comes out the other side is better.
It will be better. Because this war will change things, Sam. Every other war has been about keeping things the same, but the status quo doesn't work anymore. America's sick, Sam. She's dying. The politicians, the bureaucrats, the whispered backroom deals, it's all life support for a sick old lady who was dead a long time ago.
You're a murderer and a war criminal.
Those are the only names the state has for the revolutionaries, Sam. You only become a hero after the war is over. Honor, courage, fidelity. We don't inherit these things from the world, Sam. We build the world from them. I know you. You believe in these things more than any government. And I know that because of it, you wouldn't shoot an old friend.
You're right, Doug. I wouldn't shoot an old friend.
I mean, you can shoot him, but you know, I decided not to. Anyways, I completed every objective and got a successful 83%. And yeah, that seems pretty fun, alright? I mean, we broke into a spa owned by a Japanese mafia, we took out a few soldiers, murdered civilians, snuck past an entire warfare within the spa, defused bombs and killed our best friends. Well, no. Now we found out the true enemy is Otomo, we head on to the 10th and final mission.
We know Admiral Otomo was involved, and we know where the gentleman is. We have to go in now, immediately.
The fact is, we don't know how far the conspiracy goes. If Otomo's actions are sanctioned by the Japanese government, then the only solution is military. But if he's acting alone...
Your man again?
He's already in position.
Send him in.
Sam's final task is to stop Admiral Otomo from using the mass kernels that he acquired from Shetland. Sam infiltrates the ISDF headquarters in Japan. Anyways, after sneaking around, we managed to find out that the American hostages are in the press room upstairs, so we make our way there. Once we made our way there, the American men informed us that they're not actually hostages, but the SDF rounded up all the US personnel and just locked them in this room. He also tells us that some generals and ministers went into the war room in the lower levels of the facility, which is where we need to head to next. On our way to the war room, Redding informs us of the less than lethal soldiers ahead, meaning that they won't kill us but try to interrogate us. I did get caught by one of them, but I restarted from my quick save and just made a few more attempts to get past them. I managed to get a hold of one of them so I could force their face into the retinal scanner, so it can give us access into the server room. Another soldier started to get suspicious every time I made my move towards the door, so I just used this as a luring tactic and just took him out and placed him with his friend. So in my attempt to get to the server room, from the moment I opened the door, the camera caught me and triggered an alarm, and the servers actually sink into the floor, which is actually pretty clever. Once we go into the server room, we access the computer and unlock the doors to the war room. So now that we're in the war room, we obviously couldn't just walk into their meeting, so we had to get into the vents. But there were 2 guards and a camera on the left and right side of the room. I still tried, but the guard from the right hand side came and caught me. Now, using common sense, I just waited for the soldier from the other side to team up with the other soldier, and I used that as an opportunity to take them both out. Now we're in the vents eavesdropping and recording the meeting, and it kind of goes on for quite a while, so long story short, it is revealed that Otomo is attempting to manipulate the Japanese government by forcing the ISDF to repeal the post-war constitution under his threat of launching a North Korean ballistic missile via the mass kernels or the chaos theory algorithms on an unspecified Japanese city, hence justifying the demand for repeal. When the general sends special forces to eliminate Otomo, which are killed, Otomo proceeds to use the chaos theory algorithms to force launch a North Korean ballistic missile at a Japanese city to force the Japanese Republic into remilitarization. After the meeting was finished, the GSDF sends an assault team in an attempt to stop Otomo, but is wiped out by the ISDF assault troops. Shortly after this, Otomo basically called his own country people a fool, and he initiated the launch. So our next objective was to cripple Otomo's ISDF servers, and we had 3 minutes to do so.
Did you hear that? Maybe.
Anyways, with 40 seconds left, I destroyed the servers and made our way to Otomo, and he kind of just gives us some long speech about,
"You think that I will surrender to you? You think that I will allow your people to strip me of my dignity? Throw me in chains? No, I think not. My people have endured your charming oppression for more than 60 years.
You say tomato.
Americans, always turning to their jokes when their hearts are full of fear. And you should be afraid. I may be defeated, but I am a man, and ideas are stronger than men. You may even prevent this war, American, but the dragon has awoken, and he will not be so easily sedated this time.
Now what?
I think someone...
he commits
seppuku,
and now we have to save him. Once we save him, we extract ourselves by blowing up the glass in the room, which is funny because we were underwater. Anyways, anyways, after all that BS, Admiral Otomo stands trial before the United Nations. The President of the USA makes a speech thanking Third Echelon, though of course he does not use the name, referring to them as the unsung heroes, and the Third Echelon team appreciates the thanks.
How about that raise?
They're cutting us back. You'll have to settle for a vacation.
Yeah, right.
It is a shame we couldn't get 100% on the Bathhouse mission. The thing is with that 90%, it actually was from the time I played it on normal difficulty on my first playthrough. And I think the game just shows the best record you have regardless of whatever difficulty you've played it on. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Yeah, sorry, after some careful thought, there was no way I was going to let that Bathhouse mission pump me like that. We're going to try this again and again and again until I get 100%. So after doing some research on this mission, I actually realized that towards the end of the mission, like, you know, when you spy on the meeting and everyone's, you know, warring out in the Bathhouse, apparently some soldiers actually do catch you, but because the game doesn't actually alert you and the soldiers are fighting amongst each other, you don't actually know that they've caught you. You kind of assume that they're talking to the enemy or referring to the enemy per se. So what we have to do is we have to hide behind the vents as much as possible and use as much, you know, smoke grenades as possible to be able to get past the soldiers so they don't clock onto us. So yeah, this did take quite a long time. You know, 3 traumatic days. Alright, we really gotta be careful. Oh, good. Perfect.
Fisher!
No! Alright, let's see. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. What's going on there with Sam? Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. No, 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 no. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. We did it. Oh. Oh, wow. I'm laid up with a soldier. Oh, the tables have turned, eh? I mean, talk about karma, right? Oh my days. Okay, good. Okay, that's definitely 100%. What the hell? Oh my goodness, we actually did it. Oh my, we did it. Wow, 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 we actually did it. I am never playing this satanic mission ever again. As you can see guys right now, I'm just, you know, showcasing that I've managed to 100% every single stage in Splinter Cell Chaos 3. This was a fun playthrough. Yeah, it did get quite complicated, it did get quite annoying at times, but that was mainly towards the end of the game anyway, so that's not really much of a big deal. Unfortunately, you know, I will not be moving on to new games. There are still some games that are uncompleted on my channel, so I'm gonna have to now, you know, just work hard to complete them. And then once those are completed, which wouldn't take too long, shouldn't take too long, we will move on to new games, you know, to complete. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to, you know, go through my experience of trying to expert Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And in the meantime, I will see you guys in a bit.